Welcome back. You're watching Mirror at 1. In fact, breaking news that we're tracking as far as the Bilkis Bano rape case is concerned in the Supreme Court. No relief for Bilkis Bano's rape convicts. The Supreme Court sets a deadline for surrender. Now, convicts to surrender on January 21st. In fact, the top court has stated that reasons cited have no merit. So that's the big breaking input that we are tracking as far as the Bilkis Bano hearing is concerned. Remember, in the Supreme Court, the convicts had filed a petition seeking more time to surrender before the jail authorities. But now we are picking up in the big development is that the Supreme Court has set a deadline for them to surrender. So clearly there is no relief for the convicts and they have to surrender by January 21st. Remember, out of the 11 convicts, 10 of them had stated several reasons. And talking about the same, the Supreme Court has stated that reasons cited have no merit. So that's the breaking input that we continue to track. In fact, we'll try going across to my colleague to get us the latest as to what the top court has said. But clearly, there is no relief for the convicts in the case. So all Bilkis's convicts have to surrender day after tomorrow, that is January 21st. They've also stated that the reasons cited, including requirement for time to complete the winter harvest, dependency of aged parents. Remember, one of the convicts had also stated that responsibilities towards their aging parents. Another convict had stated poor health and need to make financial arrangements as well. But all of that has been dismissed by the Supreme Court, given the fact that these very reasons that we just mentioned, the top court said, have no merit. So clearly, all the convicts have to surrender on January 21st, that is day after tomorrow. So it's a significant development as far as the Bilkis Bano case being heard at the top court is concerned. Remember, just talking about this earlier, legally speaking, of course, that when the convicts had filed a petition in the Supreme Court before the jail authorities to surrender, the bench had then struck down the remission order on January 8th and had asked them previously to surrender within 2 weeks. But as far as this development coming in, Harish joins me for the latest. Harish, tell us the latest as far as this is concerned.
Yes, that's right. No relief for the 11 convicts who had moved the Supreme Court seeking further time for surrendering. In fact, the deadline for them to surrender ends day after tomorrow. So this means that all the 11 convicts in the Bilkis case have to surrender before the Gujarat jail authorities by day after tomorrow evening. Remember, the 10 convicts had moved Supreme Court citing several grounds like the dependence of their aged parents on them. They need time to complete the winter harvest, children's marriage, to have to health reasons, recent surgery, and also to make financial arrangements before they go back to jail. But Supreme Court bench led by Justice B.V. Nagaratna said the court finds no merits in the reasons cited by these convicts seeking further time to surrender before the jail authorities. So, saying so, the Supreme Court has dismissed all these petitions, which essentially means that they have to surrender within 2 weeks, given on January 8th, for them to surrender. That is by day after tomorrow evening. So remember, on January 8th, the Supreme Court had directed that to ensure that the rule of law exists in the state, these convicts who have committed a very heinous, gruesome and horrendous crime like murdering 7 persons and gang raping Bilkis Bano, who was then 7 months pregnant, and also killing her 3-year-old daughter. They cannot be allowed to roam around freely in the society. And also said that the Gujarat government was also complicit with the convicts, and also they had earlier secured a favorable order from the Supreme Court by suppressing the facts and also playing fraud on the Supreme Court. Saying all this, the Supreme Court had quashed the remission order issued by the Gujarat government and directed that all these convicts should surrender by within 2 weeks. So yesterday, all these convicts had come to Supreme Court citing several grounds which I stated. But today, the Supreme Court said that they prima facie find no merits in these grounds, and therefore it has refused to interfere and said that the earlier order to surrender within 2 weeks will remain, and they have to
Right,
surrender
Harish.
by day after tomorrow evening. Back to you.
Right, Harish. I appreciate you joining us with all those latest details and essentially telling us that they have to be surrendering on January 21st. So that's the big development. Thank you very much for putting things into context. We'll leave the conversation at that. Slipping in a quick break here on Mirror at 1. More news and a special story on the other side. Stay with us.